What's up, guys? Swift here, covering everything NFL Combine related. Just got done with 6 straight hours of NFL Combine action. Today was cornerbacks, safeties, and tight ends. The Bears need a starting safety and need to add more tight ends this offseason as well. I've been scouting this safety class a lot. The top defensive back in the class is Iowa's Cooper DeJean. He can play safety or corner. He chose not to work out today. I'm going to give a brief rundown of who stood out and show my chart with everyone's times and measurements on them. Also, shout out to CC for gathering the RAS scores for me. Let's get right into it. First off, the safety class looked good. Javon Bullard, Cole Bishop, Tyke Smith, Kalen Bullock, and Jalen Simpson all running 4.4 40s and looking very athletic. This class of safeties could fly. Cole Bishop really stood out. I've heard scouts say he's limited athletically and is more of a strong safety type, but he proved them wrong today, running a 4.45 40 and finishing with a 9.82 RAS score. On the downside, today was a disappointing day for my guy Kam Kinchens. He ran a 4.65 40 and did not test well athletically. His athletic limitations were dead on, and he finished with a 2.11 relative athletic score. With how jumbled up this safety class is, I could see this showing causing Kam Kinchens to fall down draft boards a bit. I think we could see an entire first round without a safety going, and if Kam falls to round 3 or below, I think he's going to be a steal despite his athletic limitations. I don't know if he fits Pole's profile, though, because he loves athletic safeties. This safety class doesn't really have any standout players, but there are more than a handful of guys who should get picked in rounds 2 and 3 that should be early contributors in the NFL. At cornerback, Nate Wiggins and Quinyon Mitchell stole the show. Quinyon started it out running a 4.33 40, and then Wiggins would top it off running a 4.29, but had to leave early after running. I hope Wiggins is okay. The corner class has a ton of speedsters. Max Melton, DJ James, Chris Abrams-Drain. This corner class just has a ton of speed. That's something that NFL talent evaluators are going to love to see. 40 times mean the most for corners, safeties, and wide receivers. I honestly haven't studied this corner class enough because I just don't expect the Bears to draft one. And the wide receiver class is so deep. More on that tomorrow. Terrion Arnold had a good day, and he also had a touching message for his mom. That was awesome to see. And then we're going to move on to the tight ends here. One of the coolest things I've ever seen at the Combine was Colorado State tight end Dallin Holker. He thought a drill was over and took off running after catching a pass, and then saw another ball coming his way, switched the football to his other arm, snatched the ball out of the air with one hand, and then runs the rest of the way with 2 footballs. Hilarious and awesome at the same time. As far as athletically, Theo Johnson from Penn State stole the show, running a 4.58 40 and scoring a perfect 10 on the RAS score. I give it a 10. Illini's Tip Ryman wasn't far behind, running a 4.64 40 and checking in at a 9.93 RAS. He also had a really good day. Jaheim Bell showcased his speed, running a 4.61 and finishing with an 8.5 RAS score. Tanner McLaughlin from Arizona scored a 9.41, and Ben Sinnott really stood out, looking awesome catching the ball, and then scoring a 9.49 on the RAS. On top of that, Adam Mason's guy, Cade Stover, who had 0 drops this year, he came in really athletic as well, scoring an 8.8. He ran a 4.65 40. A lot of really athletic tight ends who should be available in the mid-rounds. This draft looks really good for the tight end class, something Ryan Poles is going to love to see. A couple of other tidbits. Marvin Harrison Jr. did weigh in early. He checked in at 6'3.5" and 205 pounds. Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, and others all met with the media today. I have tons of notes from the interviews as well as the workouts, but tomorrow is the biggest day of the Combine. Skill position day, baby. We got QBs and wide receivers as well as running backs. the first time the Combine has ever had all three positions together on one day. Should be fireworks in Indy tomorrow. As far as the stars, Caleb Williams is not going to be working out. Neither is Drake May or Jaden Daniels. That's going to leave it open for another quarterback to really stand out tomorrow. Who's going to steal the show? Is it going to be J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, maybe Michael Penix Jr.? News on him, the quarterback from Washington, by the way. It seems he was cleared medically and got some really good news while he was in Indy as far as his medicals are concerned. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors are also going to be skipping working out. That's going to leave it wide open for Rome Odunze to really steal the show tomorrow. Rome is one of my favorite players in the entire NFL draft. I think he's a top 5 guy. I have him number 3 overall on my big board. I don't think there's any way he falls to number 9 unless he has a bad showing tomorrow. There are a ton of other wide receivers, though. You guys know how hyped I am about this wide receiver class, and seeing how fast these guys are is really going to help put the board together. Tape evaluations always matter the most, but when it comes to wide receivers and cornerbacks especially, how fast they run their 40-yard dashes really helps GMs and scouts see how their speed will translate into the NFL. I think it's important to not overrate someone based on a really fast 40, and also not knock a top guy down if he runs a 4.5. You have to put nuance into these things, but it really does help scouts put boards together. A couple names to keep an eye on tomorrow. I already mentioned Rome Odunze. Keep an eye on Keon Coleman, Adonai Mitchell, Malachi Corley, Javon Baker, Brendan Rice, Xavier Leggett, Ladd McConkey, Ricky Pearsall. This wide receiver class is just absolutely stacked. Another one I haven't talked about much, Jalen Polk, Rome Odunze's teammate from Washington, another guy I really like who could be a day 2 guy. No more news really surfaced today regarding the Bears. Ryan Poles is currently meeting with prospects at the Combine, putting his draft together, and meeting with other GMs and fielding trade offers. He is a busy man this week. Tomorrow is going to be the biggest day of the Combine. Today was a long one. I'm exhausted. I appreciate everyone who watches. Please remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned. I have a ton more content on the way, and we have Chicago Bears news coming soon. So stay tuned, and until next time, bear down.